Hello everyone. You see this bag? It's almost submerged. Inside, I have my sleeping bag, my spare clothes, my electronics, etc. In real conditions, if my method fails, I end up spending the night in hypothermia. Today I'm going to show you how to make your gear 100% waterproof for less than €2. Today's technique is important because it's simple, effective, inexpensive, and works with all your equipment. You can even cross small bodies of water or walk 10 kilometers in the rain while keeping all your gear dry. Stay with us until the end, because we'll also see in the field how to actively manage hypothermia. You should also know that there's a lot of marketing around this. Waterproof backpacks are often expensive, suited for certain uses, but they often lack versatility. They're also disappointing when it comes to waterproofing. In reality, here we're going to talk about field techniques that are more effective and, above all, much cheaper. Now let's move on to what interests us, the €2 technique. The method is simple. We're going to use plastic bags to waterproof our equipment from the inside. If you have drawstring bags, like here, don't use the drawstrings because you won't get a waterproof seal. Let's see how to use them. So, large backpacks are generally tunnel-type backpacks like this one. To waterproof the inside of the backpack, we'll use a plastic bag that's twice the capacity of the backpack. Just so you know, here I have a 130-liter plastic bag and a 66-liter backpack. So for packing, we use the usual principle, which means loading in the reverse order of how you expect to take the gear out. It's reverse chronological organization. The gear you'll use last goes at the bottom of the bag, and the stuff you'll need quickly is on top, easy to reach. Now I start packing the bag with the sleeping gear, so the sleeping bag itself needs to be put in a plastic bag, because it's one of the items that's very sensitive to moisture. And as we'll see, it's an important safety item to prevent hypothermia. Something that's too rarely emphasized but is actually very valuable in the field. Consider the sleeping bag as a real piece of active safety equipment, not just a comforts accessory for the night, especially when you know how quickly and severely hypothermia can strike. It's not that rare, even among experienced hikers. I've often had to deal with cases of hypothermia with varying degrees of severity. Of course, believe me, these aren't exceptional cases. We usually think first of accidental hypothermia, like from cold, wet clothes and so on. But you also have cases of secondary hypothermia, which are physiological and often related to exhaustion. We even see them in warm or temperate areas when the body is out of breath and can no longer generate enough heat. In all these scenarios, effective rewarming remains one of the most important actions, one of the most important emergency measures. Untreated hypothermia dramatically worsens the prognosis, so the risk of mortality rises very quickly if you let it go. That's where the sleeping bag is really going to become an important element. In practice, out in the field, we're going to place the undressed, dried person in a sleeping bag, then wrap them in one or more emergency blankets. On the other hand, if you only use an emergency blanket, most of the time it won't be enough, or it will only be suitable for very mild hypothermia. Of course, there are other details in these procedures, like insulation from the ground, but the basics remain the same. The sleeping bag isn't just a portable bed, it's a tool that can literally save lives in a thermal emergency. You have to keep that in mind. So, I'll continue packing when it comes to gear that's truly foul. In cold and damp areas like underwear, we'll put them in plastic zipper bags like this. Ziploc type, clearly separated. We only put a few selected items in the Ziplocs to keep them well organized. That way, we'll have double protection. If your packing is well organized, you'll be able to easily find your things, even in the dark, just by touch. You'll also be able to grab a bag with underwear. For example, you can temporarily put them in a cargo pocket like here and use them as soon as the opportunity arises. With completely soaked clothes, you'll always have dry gear available. So you can separate, of course, whatever you think is necessary here. These are long merino underwear, a merino jacket here as well, and this is a 400-gram oil-rubbed jacket, extremely warm. So if I have a problem with cold or waterproofing, I can take out my completely dry gear whenever I need it. When you're out in the field, you also put everything that's dirty into a Ziploc bag so it doesn't contaminate the rest of your bag, especially when it's soaked. Now, an important point about closing plastic bags, we're going to avoid knots. First, because simple knots tend to loosen gradually due to the movement of the backpack. They can also loosen because of the internal compression of their contents and simply over time and with humidity. Second problem associated with knots on plastic bags. If you make several of them and tighten them well, the different knots will end up damaging and wearing out the neck of your plastic bags. As a result, they will no longer be airtight. Third problem. In the dark or at night, accessing your belongings will be really slow and difficult if they are tightly knotted. To solve this problem, simply roll the bag at the neck and make 5 or 6 turns. Then fold the ends inward. And the compression of the different bags that will be stacked on top of each other, or the flap of your backpack, will ensure you have good waterproofing. If now you really have to cross a body of water, for example, for hours, you'll need to seal your plastic bags with duct tape, adhesive tape, which will provide an extra layer of security that's very effective for filling the bag. Now, we're going to continue protecting sensitive equipment like electronics, of course, and don't forget to balance your bag. Also, learn how to pack your bag in a way that eliminates unpleasant noises and allows you to move discreetly. This practice strengthens your situational awareness and makes you invisible to both animals and humans. It preserves the ecological balance while connecting you to nature, and it also contributes to your safety. To get back to hypothermia. Now, when you're alone, soaked, exhausted, and making a fire is impossible in the field, for example under heavy rain, you'll need an efficient, quick, and self-sufficient way to warm up. Here is the €2 secret weapon. So, This is equipment that I've often used in real conditions and that has even saved me several times. It's a combustible gel in a resealable can, 200 grams with 3 hours of burn time. You get explosive heat as soon as you light it, much more powerful than a candle or a hand warmer, for example. No smoke, no strong odor. You can use it under a poncho, under a survival blanket, or in a small closed shelter. Just ventilate a little bit. Of course, you open the can, and within the next 5 minutes, the temperature rises, your body gets going again, and the shivering stops. Just for the record, I actually used this in a real situation during a landing in a Zodiac in winter conditions, with water below 8 degrees, short breaks everywhere, waves overturning the Zodiac. The whole team ended up in the water. It was impossible to make a fire on the beach in those conditions. So, it's a little discreet trick that allowed us to warm up quickly without attracting attention and get back to being operational. It's also extremely versatile. You can heat up a ration directly on it, start a fire even in extremely wet conditions. Just a few drops are enough to get a fire going. It's simple, compact, unbreakable. Just slip it into your cargo pocket or your hypothermia kit. In short, for €2, you have a reliable way to fight hypothermia on your own. When Murphy's Law comes into play, never go out without this in cold conditions. This isn't a gadget, it's active survival. There you go, we've quickly covered the basic techniques used when the weather is unpredictable and you have to stay outside. In these conditions, always pack your bag, as if you were going to stay outside all day in pouring rain. Also, don't forget that Ziploc bags should always be part of your preparation. They're super lightweight and incredibly useful. If you want more practical and proven techniques, subscribe to the channel. I have about 20 topics like this planned. Thank you for watching until the end, and I'll see you soon, maybe out in the field.